to the hey guys, welcome back to the Dane and Josh show. Dane sends his love, had to catch another he had to call a game tonight. You know, sometimes Dane gets called up to do the sports side, which is fine because my passion is always the music side. It's 1A, 1B. I get to do more of the music stuff, thankfully, from all my days of playing. And then Dane does all the play-by-play stuff. So he's calling a game tonight, sends his love. But tonight's a special one. I'm actually very, very honored. I got to see this guy play with his band Islander. I'll never forget. I'm there. My dad and I was cool because I took my dad. We're going to see POD, Non-Point, and I didn't even know Islander was on the ticket. So I'm like, wait a minute. Is this right? I thought it was a typo because I thought it was somebody else. I'm like, no. And then I see them hit counteract, and Mikey just runs out on stage and is just blazing it across this, like just jumping all over the platform and just going crazy. So I'm telling you, this band has meant something to me for a long time. I feel like there's kind of that movement of bands like Islander, POD, HR, Bad Brains, even some of like the Papa Roach and those types of bands and beyond, just carrying on the legacy of punk and rock and roll and positive music at the same time. So I'm as you can tell, I'm a little bit more of a fanboy than normal. So it's my honor to get right down to it and bring on Mikey. Mikey, how you doing, brother?
Dude, I hope I can live up to your intro, bro. That was amazing. No, I'm
Dude,
honored.
I love it, man. I'm telling you, I got footage of it. Like I don't know how, but like my dad was like, "Did you know Allender was there?" Because like we followed you guys from like the 2014 drop. Like,
Yeah,
what? So you come out and like you were just like you were just running around the stage, bro, like giving it all you got. I'm like,
dude, that's
this
dope.
dude's mad energy, man. So then,
Yeah,
and then you guys came on, and then me and Scott, which you know, Scott, we talked for quite a while. I'm like, dude, you know, Mikey, and then that's just where the kind of this came from, man. So, bro, thanks again for coming on. I've got some questions for you that the audience has
yeah.
cultivated over the years. So we're gonna
Okay,
run some stuff past you. Okay. So,
awesome.
taking a moment, man, when you look at you as an artist and musician, you guys just dropped, you know, Not Easy Being Human. I know you're working on new stuff all the way back to 2014, the success of Cooking at Dracula, and just on, man. Back in the day, though, when take me back before that, before the success you've had, when you first picked up a guitar or an instrument, you first started writing, when did you first start making music in your life?
Oh man. So my brother, he's kind of the person that we always say was like the first domino that fell to knock all of this into place. He's the bass player of our band. His name's Chris,
Yeah.
and he's like 6.5 years older than me, so he had discovered music, before me and started, I would hear it coming out of his bedroom, blasting from the speakers, and he would start going to shows all the time, and then he started inviting me to shows, and the first show he ever took me to was a band called 90 Pound Wuss and MXPX.
Yep.
And I was in 5th grade and I was terrified. Like I hated it. My brain wasn't ready for that yet. And when I was 13, I guess, he took me to see POD and Guano Apes. They came to a place in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and there were like 200 kids there, and POD went nuts. Like kids were diving off the stage and everything. And that's the night I kind of fell in love with music. And then later on, I saw a band called Ludacris, which later changed their name to Norma Jean. But at the time, they had a singer named Josh Scoggin, who's in a band called 68 now.
Yep. Yep.
And like he was hanging upside down from a basketball goal and all this stuff. And literally I saw that, and that's the night I came home, and I was like, I was already in love with music. That's the night I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to hang upside down from basketball goals and scream. So
Yeah, make the kids go nuts. Yeah.
yeah, so from that point I started like, trying to find people to be in a band with. I didn't even know what that meant or whatever, and some friends and I from school started jamming some, and kind of learning what it meant to even show up for practice. And um we started some local bands over the years and whatnot, which eventually morphed into what Islander became, through the development and evolution of all that. And yeah, we just started touring around like locally, and then we would like kind of go out further, and then we got signed to our first record deal, and we started touring the nation. And the next thing you know, we found ourselves on tour with bands like Korn and Papa Roach and POD
Yeah.
and stuff. So it was crazy.
Man, it's like I always say with all the bands you just said, you think about like Solid State, which Solid State Records, right? Ludacris, Maylene, Norma Jean, Haste
Yeah,
the Day, all that hardcore stuff that you guys, and you never want to compare yourself because you can't compare you guys to anybody. There is a mix of punk, all the
yeah,
elements, but in that scene that you guys kind of came up with, right? It's like, man, you're literally rising to the top of all these. These are good bands, and you guys are like at the top, right? And then now, like even just some of the features you've had with, on the latest on Not Easy Being Human, you're there, man. Like you're at the top. Like when it comes to metal and like what people look at, you guys are like, it's Islander, Chord, POD, different time frames, right? But you're like taking the baton and passing on. You guys, Fire from the Gods, like that new
Yeah.
sound, you're carrying it on. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you found that, because I actually listened to 90 Pound Wuss back in the day, dude. MXPX, all
Dude, that's
that. Like
dope.
I'm glad you
That's
did
dope.
that, and it inspired you, man. That's cool. So
Dude, like it's funny you say that because like we came up from like going to hardcore shows and punk and all that kind of stuff. And I remember when the band first kind of started, the vision we had for it, because we started off a little more metal than anybody ever got to hear. We never really recorded any of that stuff because we were trying to figure out what the band was going to be.
mhm.
And then as we started writing more naturally and whatever, it just I like catchy choruses. So it would turn into like, oh, here's a catchy chorus and this really heavy whatever. So some people might not, this makes me sound super old. I'm just talking like 10 years ago, even. Um, Horn and bands like that, Limp Bizkit, whatever, it had kind of become, and I don't agree that it became uncool, but it became uncool as far as like
New
the
metal.
hip, yeah, the hipster movement or whatever. And we knew about all the kind of like avant-garde hardcore bands and post-hardcore bands or whatever, but we were influenced by that as well as POD and Deftones and bands like that we love. And so we were like, let's take both of those worlds and mix them and try to go into more of like the mainstream market and show them what we've loved all this time, like these kind of performances. And now I feel like that's kind of like what all the bands are doing, and I feel kind of
Yeah,
like
like an OG.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like an OG, but I feel kind of like that weird, like, how do I not come across in any form conceited or anything like it does, I don't, whatever. But I remember when Violence and Destruction came out, we were on tour with Korn and Avenged Sevenfold, and the Avenged Sevenfold bass tech at the time, he told me, he said, "You ever heard of a band called Hollywood Undead?" And we were like, "No," and because they weren't anything yet. And I
Mhm.
remember he said they one of their guys told me the other day that they found you guys and were like, "We're gonna try to sound like them." And then I remember one of my
That's
friends was
cool.
yeah, and one of my friends was in the studio with In Flames, and I remember he told me that Anders, the singer, said, "Have you ever heard of a band called Islander?" It just so happened the dude that he was talking to had been filling in on drums for us. He was like, "Yeah, it just so happened to just got off the tour with them." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's who
Wow.
we're kind of influenced by now." And I'm like, "You're kidding me right now." So I don't feel like a lot of people know, like, Violence and Destruction, when it came out, our first record, it was kind of a little different for that scene, that world.
It's ahead of it, right? And man, you talk about good company. Darren from Hollywood Undead, he's awesome. That was a tour.
Yeah.
I think you got Darren's a cool. We've had him on the show. Cool dude. So, and it's cool that like people look to you in that style. And it's weird because again, I don't ever want to do that compare thing, but I hear some of the, I hear some of the Chino on Black Scorpion. I hear some Lost
Yeah.
Prophets on Looking for Love. Like it's such a blend, right? And you're bringing back, what I think is cool is you're bringing back rock and roll. There's a time when rock and roll, I hate to say it, but it didn't get as much play as it should have, right? And then you're
Right.
doing like, which is even better now for like streaming services. We can now go listen to what we want without commercials and
Yeah.
maybe mainstream being pushed down our throats. Now we got to get back to, I don't know, man. It's something about keeping the movement alive and then
Yeah.
and morphing it, right? So I don't know. I never heard the Hollywood Undead one. I haven't heard that. That's new. Like
Yeah.
I again, it's such a blend, man. I almost, when you guys first did the thing with like HR, I'm like, dude, this is groundbreaking. This is
Yeah.
groundbreaking that you're mixing that together. So there's nothing like it, man. So,
That's dope, man. Thank
but
you.
no, I could talk for hours on that, man, because I think you guys have set a movement. Again, I'm excited again to see what you continue to evolve. I can't wait to hear some new singles, man. I know that's in the works, right? You've got some stuff down the pike, right?
Yeah, we so we've been in the studio. We're crowdfunding a record right now, which maybe we should have crowdfunded before we jumped in the studio, but we believed in our fans so much that maybe we went into it with a little too much confidence, and we were like, it'll be funded. And thankfully I think it's gonna be. We're 7 days out from the deadline on the Kickstarter, because it's all or nothing. It's either it gets funded or it doesn't. And
Mhm.
right now I think we're about 4,000 or 3,000 away from being um completely funded. So we're just so grateful to all the fans that have stepped up and pledged to this whole thing. And I don't know, man. they've come out of the woodwork, just spending
Yeah.
money just to keep us going. And what's crazy is like oh, by the way, so the reason we're kickstarting is we're doing this without a record label now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're really excited about it. And we kind of feel like labels, there's a place for them, but we feel like as far as Islander goes, it's kind of become obsolete because like what you were saying, like we shoot our own music videos. We have a way to put everything on streaming. The people that want to buy a physical release can, pledge to the
Vinyl. Yeah.
crowdfund and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, where does the label really come into play in the whole idea? It's just, I don't know. Nobody's been able to tell me where a record label comes into play anymore.
Besides controlling what you want to put out, right? You know what I'm saying?
Besides
So,
controlling what
yeah.
you put out and spending $50,000 to get you radio play. Right. That's about the two things I would say.
Well, two things. I don't say for props. We definitely we funded it. We're happy to say we did it, and we'll also make sure we throw the link in the episodes. We'll put that out too. Awesome. Just another source to spread the word, man. We gladly do that for you.
Thank you guys, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, we love it. So when you look at, man, I know, like I said, only from just watching. I mean, we say this carefully, not creepily. I've watched a lot of your guys' interviews, so I know a lot about just piecing together what you've done.
Yeah.
I picked up on some of your.
Bro. We interview, you know what I'm saying? So people can watch them, so that's
right.
Cool.
So, but you always get that, like, yeah, I remember that time. Like, I don't remember that, so I try to stay away. But there's a broad range, I feel like, of influences on you. But there's got to be that one, man. I feel like that one go-to that's like, this is my muse, if you will. If you're looking at your inspiration for you, who's been that biggest musical influence on your life so far?
My brother. I mean, okay. I know that I can't say my brother's a band, but literally he's the one that introduced me to the things that, because he's my big brother, like that's what big brothers' jobs are. I think they show their little brothers what's cool and what's not. And he showed me stuff like POD and Zayo and Deftones and Bjork, and my whole world opened up because of that. I think that, if he hadn't have kind of shown me music, I don't really know what I would be doing in my life. I don't know what I would, and maybe I would be like a rich doctor somewhere or something, who knows. But I don't, that was never my, I've never even cared about money. Me and my wife always joke, we're like, you know what, we should probably, like, even as like individuals, we should probably care about money a little more than we do. And because there comes a point you need money to survive and do things or whatever, but I've just never been money driven. I know that we need money to do things, but that was never my passion and my goal. So I think that sometimes that may be where we could butt heads with record labels or whatnot, because they are money driven, because they're a business, they're marketing, all this stuff. And there's a place for that. And that's totally cool, because I understand the marketing side enough, but my heart is, hey, let's keep making money so that we can go out and love on people and be there for people that are depressed and people that are feeling suicidal, or just need somebody to say, hey, I see you. That's what Islanders' whole message and like vision has always been. So I think that our old producer, we used to have a producer that we worked with all the time named Cameron Webb. He did like Motorhead and Weezer, Limp Bizkit, Kelly Clarkson, Islander, like just all kind of stuff. And he told me one time that he always thought that maybe the thing that held him back, even in the industry, was that he still believed punk rock could change the world. And that's kind of how I feel. I feel like we can use this as a vehicle to share something bigger than music, and that's kind of what we do. So I don't know. Going back to your original question, though, my brother is the one that instilled all that in me. So,
man, no, it's good. And like I said, I love the passion of what you have. Thankfully, maybe you can heal lives in a different way after, way down the road. But I'm glad you're healing lives with music right now. I'm glad you're doing that. So the doctor, man.
I mean, I never wanted to be a doctor. I'd be a terrible doctor. No, I would be
you're just a doctor of music right now. It's all good. So
no, I collect action figures. If somebody said, "Hey, man, we need somebody to help this person," I would be like, I'm going to pray for him, because I
got some Sting stuff, right? Yeah, man.
Got some Sting stuff.
Yeah, I love it, man. No, I think it's cool, man. When you look at like I said, I've seen you guys play a broad range of shows. It was cool a while back. I saw you stepped in for Stein, did a show, and I've seen you play festivals. I've seen you show. And what's neat about it, in our town, when you came through Wichita, last time you guys came through was like 2019, right before COVID hit, right? And I personally, I love venues when we get a chance to be up close. There's probably, maybe about 1,000 people in there. It was a smaller venue at that time. You guys were making a pit stop, and you came out. You would have thought there was 400,000 people there, because you guys were just all over the place. And I love that about what you guys do, that it doesn't matter. I'm glad it was just because of the space, right? But you guys were just getting after it. You gave that show, that crowd, the best show that we could have ever asked for. And it was like, my
Dude,
dad was even like, I'm buying this vinyl. We walked over and like bought the t-shirts and all that. It's like, you
that's
just, what
awesome.
you do is it's a business, but you also make it look so easy, man. So anyway,
No.
I'll transition, man, because I could, like I said, I could go on
No,
that all
let me.
day.
I have something to say to that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time
Yeah.
we have here, but
No,
I just wanted to
we're
say that
good.
I went and saw, talking about Norma Jean. I went and
Yeah,
saw them before Bless the Martyr came out, and I
man.
remember there were like 15 of us there, and I didn't know this as a little as a teenager at the time. You know, I was a young teen. I saw 15 people. I thought, are they still going to play? And I went up to the merch table where their guitar player was running merch, and I said, hey, are you guys still going to play tonight? And he was like, yeah, why? And I said, well, there's only 15 people here. And now looking back at that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably made him feel horrible. But I'll never forget what he told me, and it stuck with me. He said, you showed up, didn't you? And I said, well, yeah. He said, then we'll play like there's 1,000 people here.
That's awesome,
And
man. Wow.
I have believed that ever since. And like Islanders play shows in front of like 25 people, and you can ask the people that have shown up to those shows. We we make the show about everybody in the room because
Mm,
we don't want to be rock stars or something. Like if there's 25 people, you're gonna get the same show if we're in an arena. Like
a
it does
festival,
not
yeah.
matter. You're gonna probably get a better show just because we can make it more personal.
Man,
So I don't know.
I'm saying, man, that's like I love it. I'm glad that you guys have the success of larger venues. I love that. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of cool, like you said. And I mean, I don't know. It's just there's something about those small one-off venues at times, right? And a lot of artists have said they like that, like you said, at times where a chance to connect with the fans a little bit closer, even kind of meet and greets after stuff like that, man. So
Yeah.
I just and it's funny, like you can tell that I think it's we always say the music is in good hands, right? Artists like you that are now kind of not anywhere near the elder statesman category yet, but like you're passing on the wisdom to some of those up and coming bands. Right now, you get to be that guy. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm still in my prime. I'm still doing it. I can show some others how to do maybe what you've done, right? Which is cool.
Right.
When you look at that, that was like kind of my segue question. It's perfect. So again, many venues you guys have done the circuit, done the grind, put in the work behind it. But if there was that, if you could even say this, maybe a gig that stands out is like over time, that's the benchmark gig in your memory that you played. What gig would that be? You know, a show, if you will.
I'm okay. I don't know the complete answer to that. There's been
It's
so
okay.
many shows. There's been ones that have been special for different reasons. Like when we were on tour with Papa Roach, and I hit up Sting's manager, the wrestler Sting,
So yeah, yeah,
and I just asked if I could basically get. I was bored one day, and I was like, I wonder if they still do that thing like where people can like write celebrities and get like an autograph sent to them. And his manager was like, well, are you guys going to be in Dallas, Texas anytime soon? And I said, we'll be there in 2 days. And he said, well, how about I just bring Sting to the show? So
what?
Sting came to the show, and that was a special show because number one, it was a killer show. We were out with Papa Roach, love those dudes. And then next thing you know, we're sitting backstage hanging out with Sting, and he brought me like some of his ring gear, and like he gave me his number that night, and that's when we became friends and stayed in contact, and we've done stuff since, and like music videos or whatever together. But one of the ones in most recent memory that sticks out was I want to say there were like 40 people maybe, something like that, that showed up to a show in Houston, Texas. And going back to talking about, shows being intimate or special, that is one of the best shows and most fun shows I have ever experienced in my whole life. I'm not just saying that. We got the whole crowd on stage, and I went out to the van and got the acoustic guitar, and we sat around on stage with them sharing stories, asking people how they discovered us. We shared stories from the road. We did a Q&A, and then we played our set with them still standing on stage, all singing and like we were all like holding hands around each other,
That's
like
awesome, man.
singing. And I remember after we got off stage, the bartenders came up to us from the venue, and they said, that is the best show. They said, I've worked here for years, and that is the best show we have ever seen. And I got every single fan before they left that night. I went and took the poster from that show off the wall, and I had every fan sign it because I have it in my man cave right here. Because literally that show meant so much to me that I was just like, I'm never gonna forget this. And It was crazy. Like when we
That's
drove
awesome,
home
man.
from that tour, yeah, we were actually, it was a one-off. We were on tour with Norma Jean, and it was a one-off. And I don't know, it just turned out being a really small show. And it was one of the most special shows I've ever been a part of. I'll never forget that show.
I think it's neat, man. And again, I don't think I've, and we've probably done probably 300 of these at this point. I don't think I've ever had an artist say they've asked for like a fan's autograph, and that's
Yeah.
cool, dude. Like that's humble, a humble brag, right? I love that about you.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's not like I keep going back to this. It's not like you guys are a slouch. You're very successful, but to be able to like still to love the fans enough, and that's it. That's you can tell that's why you do it, man. And even when we hit you up on this, it was like you definitely taking time out of your day. The fans, this is what makes people draw into those artists, right? Like you do these kind of things for your fans, and we can't say enough thank yous for that. So I'm going to transition, man, a little segment. This is going to crack you up. I usually prep everybody, and it's cool that you're off the cuff and even so smooth, just freestyling, right? Just spitting bars, right? There's a little segment that we do, man, every episode. Now, our fans are cool. One thing I will say, I love our fans, and they go from like Brazil to Finland across the world, right? It's really cool. They give us these questions, so we do rapid fire, and these questions are like
Oh
weird. But
man.
yeah, we got some weird questions, man, that they cultivate. Like you got to ask these questions to your guests, and they have to commit to an answer. So it's like you have to do it. And now Dana and I usually bet on these. Like, all right, so we'll pick these questions. Say, all right, I think they're going to say this or they're going to say that. So you got to give it your best. Like you have to answer one. Okay. So
Okay.
okay, you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
So you are now being sponsored by one of these two companies. You're on tour, the Islander tour. What you have to do is every single day you have to eat a bag of these and turn this into a cologne that you spray on when you interact with your fans. Are you going to go with the Hot Cheetos cologne or the Packy Chip of Death Challenge cologne? Which one are you going with as your cologne on
Oh,
this tour?
dude. I'm gonna go with hot Cheetos because I feel kind of like, oh my gosh, if I squirt a little bit of lime on me every day, maybe like if I can use like a lime like perfume over the Cheeto, like the hot Cheetos, it'll kind of give that like, I don't know, like I don't know if you ever had tried lime on a hot Cheeto
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
but yeah,
It's
that's
vicious.
kind
It's
of a vibe.
vicious,
So
man.
maybe people will think I'm kind of like I don't know, maybe I
Au
smell good.
natural.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, but it's like
Yeah. So the
the
hot
other
Cheetos, I got
one,
it.
the
See.
other one sounds like it would actually burn my skin. So
Okay. So we'll go with hot Cheetos. And again, these are
yeah.
just, I'm telling you, man, our fans, they find this stuff. So next, love the logo, sick logo. Obviously, this kind of comes from the Black Scorpion song a little bit.
Okay.
So you're required to, I don't know why that they said this, for $1 million. All right, you handed a check. At the end of the day, you have to do one of two things: have to wear real live scorpion earrings in your ears for an entire 24 hours, or you have to actually let a bull and ant take a shot at you once. Bull and ant, like the bullet ant, man. So you going with scorpion earrings or a bull and ant on the spot?
I think I'll do the ant because at
Okay.
least I don't have to have after he bites me, it's done, and I don't have to like have him near me. I feel like the scorpion earrings, I would be thinking about like they could also do something to me,
Yeah.
and I would never know when. So at least I would know that this other one was one and done, even though it would be awful. It would be one
Yeah.
and done. So I'd go with one and done. Plus, I would have to get my ears pierced to actually get the scorpion's tails through my ears. So that would hurt too. So let's go with the ant.
Okay. Well, I'm one for one. I had you on the hot Cheetos, but I had you on the Scorpion. I thought for sure it was a bet, certifier. Next one, man. Okay, so boxing match. You and Sting. So give you
Okay.
that. You guys are you're showing up to commentate a boxing match. Okay, you guys are here. And I'm telling you, it's weird. And the two opponents in one corner, you've got the ape from Harry and the Hendersons, and the
Okay.
other
Yeah.
other corner is Sasquatch. They're going to go at it. So who's going to win in 12 rounds? The ape from Harry and the Hendersons or Sasquatch?
Harry and the Hendersons, baby.
Okay, good,
He's
good. I
got
got it.
heart. He's got passion, dude. That
He's
time
got
that
fight, right?
he took that medicine like a champ when he beat his
Yeah,
hand on the table in the movie.
yeah,
Dude,
man.
I'm going with Harry, man.
Okay, good. So I got two for two.
Even if he
Okay,
loses, he wins, bro, because he's just so
right.
awesome.
Remember when he sets up on top of the car? That's throwback,
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah,
got
he
it.
got
So
hit by a
next,
car and survived.
he's a stud. So I got that one right. So I'm 2 for 3. Next question. So you are doing a set, and they approach you that they need you. Let's just say this is after the 2014 album. They want you to do an extra bonus song, a cover song. Are you going to do a cover of Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On," or are you going to do a cover of You're gonna do a cover of a song by Alanis Morissette. So Celine Dion or Alanis Morissette, who you covering?
Celine Dion, dude.
Dang, I didn't have that one, man. I didn't have that one. Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
no, it's cool, man. I know you go with all types of music. I didn't have that one,
Yeah.
man. So okay, so last one. This is right up your alley as a wrestling fan because I know you do a lot with. I know you like Sting. No question, Sting's your favorite. We know that,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least from what I've seen. But so you're at a wrestling match, and you have the ability. You have to wrestle one of these two guys. Like you're in the ring, right? So things like,
Okay.
hey, you show whatever. You have to wrestle the Undertaker or Triple H. Who are you, I guess, less afraid to wrestle in the ring? You got to go. You got to go until you tap out. So,
Hmm. I think I would try to get revenge on Triple H for beating Sting at
okay,
WrestleMania.
you got him.
So
Okay, bet.
I would be more scared of Undertaker. It
Got
would
you.
be a cooler match. Like I would rather that be on the big card or whatever, the big promotion. It would just look rad, but I would go with Triple H just to get revenge.
Okay, got you, man. Awesome. Well, just the way Sting is yours, Triple H is mine. He's my favorite wrestler. So,
Nice.
but yeah, it's just from day one, man. So, final segment, man. Again, because I appreciate you. One of the things we always do, that was the rapid fire segment. Thank you to our fans for giving us those radio questions. Thank you, Mikey, for being a champ. I went 2 for 5, so it's all right. Last question: when you look at open mic, right? You as a musician, as an artist, as a husband, as a kind of a inspiration just to kids, and then grown folk like myself. When you look back over your career so far, maybe someone that wants to do what you do, and it could be music, it could be a doctor, maybe it's like they're looking for that promotion at work, they're trying to follow their path, right? Whatever they want to
Mhm.
do. What's a piece of wisdom you could give to someone, maybe that you wish someone told you when you first started doing this back in the day?
Do it because you love it. That's
Mm,
literally that's what I always say because if you love what you're doing, even on the worst day, you're still gonna love it. Because that's what it's been for us, man. Like there's been times on tour we've been broken down on the side of the road, and I know for a fact I'm in love with what I do for a living because I wouldn't rather be doing anything else, even at those moments.
mm,
So do what you end up doing for a living or whatever, or striving for. Do it because you love it, and not to try to make money or whatever.
mm.
Like we were talking about earlier, I know we need money to do things, but don't let that be the sole reason that you do anything because money comes and goes, and it's never going to be enough. If you love it like that, it's never going to be enough. It'll be a chasing. So I would just say, yeah, just find find the thing that you can't
Mm.
really breathe without, and do it because you
That's
love it.
good. That's good, man. I think the way you phrase that, and there's always that. So everybody has that something, right? Like you as a musician, some of our athletes that we work with, it's like that's what they live and die by, right? Whatever it may
Yeah,
be. And that's what's cool is like sports and music. We feel like those are the two safe areas in the entire world. We can all talk about
right.
music, in sports, and find something that you love doing, and you won't get tired of it, even if you are
Yeah,
tired. Like you're saying, you're not going to get tired of it. So that's powerful, man. Wow.
yeah,
Well, man, Mikey, I tell you what, man, it was an absolute bucket list item for me. And like I said, these things for us, we always say we learn more than our guests do, man. And open invitation. Can't wait to talk about some new music when you guys put that out there. We will get
absolutely.
the links out for the crowdfunder. We'll get the Kickstarter out. Please let it be known this is an open invitation. Bring the boys back if you guys want to do a band episode
Dude,
sometime.
let's do it,
We'd love
bro.
it,
I'm
man. Good,
honored. I'm honored. Thank you for listening to us. I can tell that you know your
yeah,
stuff and you actually
yeah,
saw us. So I'm just grateful, man. So
yeah.
thank you for having me.
No, man, it's funny because Dane puts me in charge of music. I'm like, dude, I'm going after bands I like. We get asked a lot, but like, no disrespect to anybody out there, but I'm only going to interview people that I want to listen to. So our crowd is cultivated, right? And we've got a good following
Yeah,
of people that like what we do, right? So I'm happy to had another bucket list moment. So man, like I said, we'll keep in touch. Let's get those singles whenever that happens. We'll put it out
absolutely.
there and we'll get that link to the Kickstarter. Okay, so.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well,
Dude.
you guys, thank you again, Mikey. I appreciate you, brother. First of many, my honor, and I hope you have a good night, man. And as you're getting up, I'm about ready to sign off for the night. So,
Yeah,
man.
I'm about to start editing a music video right now. I'm like waking up, dude.
Okay. Well, man, I can't wait to touch base soon, man. Good luck when you guys get back out there, and we'll be in touch. And we look forward to this being the first of many. Okay.
Yeah, dude,
So,
let's hang out when we're in town.
man, we will. I will run that past you. I'll make it a point.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
seriously.
all right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Welcome to drop off. We'll get you back to your night, and we'll be in touch
All
very soon. Okay.
right. Peace,
Thanks,
bro. Love
Mikey.
you, man.
Have a good night, man. Thank you. Much love, bro. So, guys, that I'm telling you, with Mikey, there's no question. Just as genuine as they come, just a great human being. I love their music, but I love them as people more. I got to see them. It was them and POD, which I just that was like total fanboy moment for me. So Mikey's as cool as they come. Please, we'll get the links out there. Make sure you check out their music. They are just fantastic. Can't say enough good things about this band. Very positive. The whole point of what they do is to encourage others through a very metal type thing. So they're very heavy and aggressive, but also popish too, spreading a good message. So Mikey, thank you. Islander, we love you guys. I can't wait to do this again. We'll be in touch very soon. We got one more coming up tonight. We've got Brockett, a piano player for a lady you may have heard of called Lady Gaga. Yep, we got Brockett stopping by. The piano virtuoso's got some solo stuff too. So going to get onto that one next, and then we'll have the recap for Sunday. So as always, don't forget that we love you. And as Dane would say, thank you for listening.